Good afternoon. Today we are going to talk about preventing HIV transmission, and we'll do an activity or two to kind of talk about that. So we, as our goal, want to make Tucson safer together for HIV. So first off, let's talk a little bit about HIV. So first off, there is no cure for this disease, and it's fatal every time. Luckily, we live in a day when there are drug therapies called antiretroviral therapy, which can help prevent the disease from spreading, as well as prevent it from having such a bad effect on your body. Now, the way HIV affects the body is it attacks the immune system or your body's natural defenses. And this way, smaller infections and smaller diseases can get in and be fatal, even though normally your body would have been easily able to fight them off. Then your body can't fight them off because it doesn't have any defenses. And that is why prevention is absolutely key, because what we need is, because until there's a cure or a vaccine, we can't just go around curing everyone or preventing it through vaccines. We have to take these other preventative measures. So HIV is transmitted or is passed from person to person through bodily fluids, such as semen and blood. And so the most common way for it to be transmitted is through sex and any other kind of sexual activity, as well as through contaminated needles, which most often come from getting tattoos or using injected drugs. And it can also be passed from mother to child during birth. Now, it's good to point out that not all bodily fluids transmit HIV, so you can kiss or whatever with somebody who has HIV and not have to worry about it, because saliva and sweat and things like that don't transmit it. So we're going to start out with a quick activity. I want you each to grab the worksheet in front of you, and I want you to walk around and try to fill it out by finding people who meet the requirements on your sheet, such as they've traveled to Europe or their favorite color is yellow. And then one of you has several sheets of stickers. You have lots and lots and lots of stickers. And so everybody pay attention, though, because you will all probably have stickers. Well, a lot of you will have stickers by the end of this. If you come into contact with someone who is stickerless, I want you to put a sticker on their page and give them several sheets of stickers. And this is for everybody, not just this first person. You want to spread out your stickers to as many people as you're talking with. Not just running around and putting them on willy-nilly, but when they can fulfill a requirement on your sheet. And then we'll talk about that. All right, awesome. So we started out with only one person with a sticker on their sheet, and now let's see how many people have stickers. Okay, see, that's a lot of you. So it almost just kind of explodes. And that's kind of the same way that HIV is transmitted, where the more people you come into contact with, the more people get HIV. So you kind of want to limit the number of people you have sex with, whether that means you practice abstinence, which means you just don't have sex, until you're married, or if you want to just make sure that you have a relationship with somebody before you start having sex with them. It's hard to prevent HIV when you've got all these different sexual partners. So another great way to prevent HIV is with all of your sexual partners, make sure you use condoms. And these are great for preventing unwanted pregnancies as well as many other STIs. So because they keep all those fluids contained, it keeps any fluids contained as well as it keeps any fluids from leaving. And there are male and female versions. So now they're not 100% effective because they can break, they can leak, or sometimes, fluid can come out the bottom of the condom at the base and go out because they can't cover and keep everything in all at once. So just be aware of that, but they're definitely better than nothing. if your partner has HIV, if you have a sexual partner and they're HIV positive, then here's some measures that you want to take. So first off, you want to make sure they're using the antiretroviral therapy, because it makes it less likely that they will transmit the disease to you. As well as you will want to start taking PrEP drugs. And these drugs just make it harder for you to get HIV. So they're a very good preventative measure if you're living a lifestyle that's a high risk, or, if especially if you know that your partner has HIV. And that's not enough, though. I mean, you will want to use condoms for all of your sexual activities, whether male or female condoms, but the male condoms are more effective at preventing STIs. And you want to get tested regularly so that you can prevent spreading it to other people, as well as just to make sure that that you also start on that antiretroviral therapy. But if you do get HIV, if you test to be positive, first off, don't panic. It's okay. You can still live a long, happy life. And we're lucky to live in a day and age where there are antiretroviral therapy drugs offered. So first off, you do want to start that antiretroviral therapy so that, you're reducing the amount of virus in your blood, so it makes it less likely that you'll transmit it to others, as well as, prolong your life. You also want to tell all past, present, and future sexual partners that you have HIV so that they can make an educated and informed decision on whether or not they want to, on whether or not they need to get tested, or on whether or not they should actually, engage in sexual acts with you. It's really important that you let people be prepared for that. If you're pregnant, you also really want to start treatment so that you don't pass that disease on to your child. And then as far as needles go, let's talk about tattoos first off. Tattoos can be a lot of fun, but make sure that if you're having one done, you really go to a reputable tattoo parlor, somewhere where things are clean, lots of people have been there, and you know that they're using clean equipment. But if you want your buddy to do it, or any of these kinds of things, you want to do it yourself, just make sure that all of the equipment is clean. It's all been sterilized completely, because it would just be so awful to get HIV along with your cool new artwork. And then as far as drugs are concerned, just don't inject drugs, guys. It's so dumb. Just don't do it. Things like insulin, of course, are necessary, but injecting meth or heroin, I would just say don't do it overall. But if you are going to, then never, ever reuse needles, whether it was you that used them or somebody else that did. And going along with that, never share needles. You never want to give them away to other people, and you never want to accept needles from others, that you are not positive are sterilized and clean. So, and then, of course, just make sure that any needles you use are completely sterile. There are lots of free needle, lots of organizations that either give away free needles or can swap them. You can swap out contaminated ones or used ones for sterilized ones. So take advantage of those. And as we work together to use these preventative measures, we can make Pima County a much safer place for everyone involved. So just remember, use those condoms, limit the number of people you have sex with, take the appropriate drugs if you're living a high-risk lifestyle or if you have HIV. Make sure to be honest with your sexual partners, and most of all, avoid dirty needles and just make sure that any kind of needle is clean. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope that you all have a wonderful day.